My name is Professor Purdy. I'm a senior lecturer in the School of Industrial Design, and this summer I'll be teaching 3 courses as part of the summer program that we're offering through the Industrial Design program. With this video, I want to give you a kind of a quick introduction to each one of the courses and also talk about some of the logistics issues about access to the information, videos, and so forth with it. All right, so let's get started, and let's actually start with the logistics stuff, kind of get that out of the way real quick. So each course is going to be well documented through Canvas. I use that as a medium to provide all the content for the different assignments, homeworks, videos, support material, and so forth with it. So got to make sure you're up to speed on that. My courses basically cover 5 weeks, so I break it into 5 modules, basically 1 module, 1 assignment, and 1 homework per week that we're going to be looking at. And so if you go into the course, you'll see that. In the introduction part, we're going to talk about software, just the kind of general philosophy about the course and how do you get access to material. I go much more in depth than I will in this little video today. So that's all going to be there. And if you look at a typical module, now I'm doing this one for the Intro to Computing 1, but it's typical for all the different courses that I'll be offering this summer, Intro to Computing 2 and the Advanced Rendering course. But as you see, I list like the assignment there, the homework that's going to be there. Here's the videos that'll basically be your main way to learn the course. It's an asynchronous course, so all the content's going to be presented online, and you go through and work at on your own pace. And there's support materials and finally presentations. Okay, so it's all going to be there for you to look at. Your main way of learning is going to be through these videos that I put together, and as you can see, I break them into different playlists. And real pragmatic about it, try to break it up step by step. The goal is to get something down in less than around 10 minutes to teach. Well, I try to do that. I know a lot of these I go over, so but I try to break up little chunks so you can watch it, practice, and do things. And same thing with the support material as you're going through and working on something, an example and provided. You'll have it available there to download through Canvas as well. Okay, now let's look at the calendar real quick, the schedule for this. Let's pull up the right month here. There we go. All right, so once again, I'll use Intro to Computing 1 as an example, but the other courses pretty much follow the same thing. So we'll start here on the 16th. Homeworks are designed to help practice things during the week, or like on this first one, is to go out and find a product that you're going to use to do the illustrations for the rest of the class. So they kind of have those 2 different things. They're kind of building skills or providing information for the next assignment. So assignment 1 is due the following Monday, and then we do homework 2 and so forth. So once again, it pretty well works out per week. Only thing is with Memorial Day, we got to kind of push it back 1 day for each one of those. Okay, so if you look at any of the courses, let me add in, there's the Intro to Computing 2 course, and then the Advanced Rendering course. They all pretty much follow that same schedule. Now, here's the big point I want to make about the schedule. I lay this out and kind of give you an overall schedule to follow, but there is no penalty for turning in anything late. I do ask you to kind of go through and do homework 1 first, then do assignment 1, and so forth. A lot of these assignments will build on one another. But it's a summer set of courses. Summer is a time when we have other things that come up, internships that you might be working, vacation, trips with family, hanging out with friends, getting just all of a sudden something come up, want to go do something, for the weekend and all. So that's why I set it up this way. It's asynchronous. You can learn the material as you go along, and then you can turn it in, when you get it finished. I do provide this overall schedule to help you get through it and make sure you kind of, follow what I think is works. But there is no penalty if you need to turn in something late and all. So keep that in mind with it. Okay. All right. Also, during the weeks, I will have kind of scheduled help sessions, probably one during the day, one during the evening. So depending on your schedule and all, there will be a TA for the course, or multiple TAs maybe, depending on how many sign up. And they will be providing like help sessions as well. We'll all be available to answer questions other times. You can email us, you can email back. or we can get together. I think we're now moving to Zoom, so we'll be using that platform to communicate and all. So anytime you need to do that, we're here to help. Okay, so I don't want you to feel like you're only going to be able to learn from the material, the videos, and so forth. That's going to be your main method, but there will be also opportunities to meet, discuss, talk about if you're struggling with how something works or didn't get the concept or whatever, go over that as well. Okay, so now one last thing I want to cover, and that is software. Let me make a couple points on that. So under the module introduction, and like I said, once again, we'll go through this in more in depth when we start the course, but there is a software page, and this basically lists out all the software that you'll need for the different courses. I'll talk about those when I get into it. So you'll find it all there. Now, what we do have set up in the College of Design, which has been very helpful, is the VLab, they call it, or the mycloud.godtech.edu if you've ever signed into that. But the College of Design has 4 different virtual desktops that you can use from anywhere, and basically get access to all the same software that it's available in the computer lab. So you're more than welcome to go in if you're here in the Atlanta area to work in a computer lab during the summer, or you can use a virtual desktop to access it. Or you can also download a lot of the software and run it on your own computer if you want to. I'll cover all those different ways to do it. So I want to just let you know that it's going to be available. We'll figure out what works best for you. And that way you're kind of get up to speed quickly and not be worrying about that with it. But one of the programs we're going to be using is Fusion for the Intro to Computing 2 course, as well as a little bit in the Advanced Rendering course. Keyshot we'll be using in the Intro to Computing 2 course and the Advanced Rendering course. Photoshop, Illustrator, those are tools we're going to be using in the Intro to Computing 1 course. And then finally, here's the virtual desktop. And in here, we're going to be working with a program called VRED, which does automotive rendering and also Maya, if you're, that'll be part of that assignment as well. All right, so now let me just real quickly go through, and I'll jump back to this page that I've got posted on my website. So purdy.godtech.edu/summer. If you ended up most likely watching this video, you went to that first, but you may have gotten to another way, but just go put that in, and it'll once again, main thing is it provides a link to the Canvas courses that are already set up and available online. The actual content may change a little bit. I may update some things as well, so it's not set in stone yet, but it's pretty close. Also, you can go and look at the gallery pages for each of the different courses. So I got those all set up here. Let me use that to kind of show you real quickly with each course what we're going to do. So for the Intro to Computing and the 1 and 2, these courses are really probably more geared towards minor students who are coming in with not any background in those like Adobe Creative Suite or 3D modeling, or at least geared towards industrial design. So these are going to be courses that are more focused on basics, kind of learning the different programs, and then doing some more, different set of tools and stuff with it. So let's take a look at the Intro to Computing 1. First thing we're going to do is actually find an existing product and do an illustration of it. This is different from CAD, and we'll talk about the differences and all with it, but just here's some examples what students have done in the past with this. This course, Intro to Computing 1, does each assignment kind of build on one another. So, and I'll talk about that. It's real important to get a good product that you'll want to carry throughout the rest of the assignments and all to do that. Okay, and then you take those illustrations you do in the first module, first week, and you render them. Okay, and we'll look at techniques. This is using Photoshop of how to shade them properly. There's some basic techniques you follow to do that. And then how to do different material treatments, soft, hard, reflective, some different techniques with that. I teach this knowing that you probably don't have like a Wacom tablet or anything kind of sketching wise. So how can you make nice shaded renderings with just a mouse? And there's some little techniques in Photoshop that help to do that. And I teach in what I call a non-destructive way. Everything's broke on separate layers. And then if something really doesn't look right, you just go back and redo that one layer instead of having to kind of like redo everything. All right. So, but the examples really kind of show what you can achieve by just applying these basic principles and all that you see there. So we take that set of renderings, all right, and then on our product interface, we actually use, let me pull, I'll do this one. Use a different program called Extruder, which allows us to create an interactive prototype. So you can turn it on, you can navigate through some different buttons here, make some different selections with it. So we'll look at how to do all that in, that program to simulate a product interface. And then you'll be able even to turn it off like that with it. Okay. Let's see, let's go back and do another one real quickly. So here's another example. And once again, the whole thing is set up to act like a real product. Turn it on, little intro animation. And then on this one, you can actually type in values and hit enter and get it to work. So we'll look at how to do something like that as well. All right. And then the fourth assignment there is a product video. So I got some examples there. Once again, we take the content that you've done in for Photoshop and look at how to reuse it. And this one also includes how to make screen recordings. So the interactive product that you made, you use little snippets of it to make like a tutorial video that covers how to do that. So I've got several examples there you can check out what students have done with that. And this teaches us, the program is After Effects, how to pull it all together, how to do some 3D stuff in After Effects as you see there, give that illusion of 3D, and then animate things properly and all with it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in that assignment. And then finally, we put it all together in a product booklet. Okay, get this scaled down a little bit so we can see it. And here you show off your work, but we're working with a program called InDesign that allows us to, let me go scroll over down through here, basically make this interactive so we can click on this, go to the page that we want to, and then actually navigate backwards and jump around like that. Okay, so we'll look at how to do something like that in InDesign and then make it either as a PDF or some other way to kind of publish it and to do that. All right, so that's the course. Those are the assignments in Intro to Computing 1. Let me go back one more. There we go. And the gallery for Intro to Computing 2. Okay, now this is all about modeling and rendering, and I use some different things to work with so that it's, because the creative side of things, if you're really an industrial design student, is more of the focus. Here is more about learning the tools. So you can see examples. The first things you'll be modeling is actually a chess set, or at least 6 pieces that go into a chess set. Some students went and took it a little bit further, as you see here. And it's fun because you learn about the different tools and you be creative within the actual figures that you do and do some things like that where pieces are suspended. They don't have to follow, kind of the things should work or whatever. This is, not going to be built per se with it, but you can see examples there what students have done. We then take those and actually go and render them using a program called Keyshot. On the modeling side, I forgot to mention this, it's Fusion 360 we're going to be using. Then we jump in and use Keyshot. And as you can see, you can do different material treatments, you can do different lighting with it, look at reflectivity, with it, glass, just amazing all the different materials you can work with in Keyshot and all. So it's kind of one of the industry standards for the industrial design side of things. So we'll do that. Then we go back in and we do what we call Sculpt Modding. In Fusion, there's T-spline forms or sculpt forms that you can really go in and be kind of creative with the shapes and all. We'll look at how to do that relative to like a little bath toy or a little stuffed animal or something like that. And also include rendering as part of this, so you're seeing the finished products of these rendered out like that. Okay, and then on the next assignment, this is more about making a real product based off of like some internal components that you got to work around and design around with it, and then coming up with your own form to work with that. We also will get into some surface modeling with this as well when we do this part of the assignment. Okay, close that down, and then sculpt model, or the scan modeling. I'll be giving you some scan data to work at cleaning up, and then we'll look at how to build relative to it. Take cross sections or just kind of sculpt a form around it and then pull to the form. But we'll look at some things, but you'll have existing scan data to kind of work off of to do some of this stuff. Really kind of fun, just creative aspects that you can do with the different, you can do something more pragmatic like goggles or your face shield, or you can just do an art piece with this. Okay, so it's kind of open on that. All right, so that's it, all that we're going to cover with regards to Intro to Computing 2. We'll say this: if you are an existing industrial design student and you just want to kind of practice some more skills, you're more than welcome to take either one of these courses. We can actually have some alternate assignments for you where you go in and do something a little different, because some of the assignments will repeat what you've already done. So like in the Intro Computing 1, we'll stay kind of flat. I say we'll only work with Illustrator or Photoshop, but we'll actually look at this alternate assignment, how to do perspective, how to put things in perspective and build up a three-dimensional form in Illustrator that you would then take in and render it in Photoshop. That's the alternate assignments that are going to be available if you decide to take those courses. Now, the advanced rendering techniques. This course is really geared towards industrial designers who've gone through, their probably sophomore year doing the basic intro to computing courses that we have currently, digital design methods, 3D modeling, and then really try to advance their rendering skills. And we'll look at it from several different programs. This is Keyshot, how to do some really advanced materials in here, how to do things like caustic, put a light in, how to transfer it through glass material and get that caustic effect. Just some really nice renderings, how to pose things, how to really kind of set things up to look more realistic and all. But we'll be doing that as part of the first assignment. The second assignment is kind of a fun assignment in that we'll find some 3D cars out on gradcad.com, and then we'll use a program called VRED Pro and look at how to render these. Now, VRED Pro is used by the automotive industry to render vehicles, so you'll be kind of stepping right into that to work with. But just amazing some of the things you could do with it, because VRED Pro is geared for automotive industry and getting materials to look correct as painted materials are reflective and so forth. And you can see these details that you can put in on existing product and all. So we'll do things like ambient occlusion, look at how to use that to kind of go ahead and bake in the soft shadows that happen on vehicles naturally and all with it. That's some examples that you see there, what you can do with this. And just different vehicles and all that you're going to work with. But that's VRED Pro. Then we're going to shift gears and learn another program, which is Maya, and using their built-in rendering program called Arnold. And then in here, we're going to look at several different plugins or tools that allow you to do different things. This one is Mash. It actually allows you to take, starting with one chair, make duplicates of all these, and then randomize them, kind of have them, drop down and maybe sit in different randomized fashion, and then color them different materials as well. It's geared towards doing an advertisement, how to use some things in Maya to do that. Another plugin is called Bfrost, which allows you to do liquid simulations. Here's a great example of water and all that you can create with it. This is another one using Bifrost to do that as well. This one is plugin called InCloth. Allows you to do the fabric material that you can do with it as well. Now, getting into our next assignment, let me scroll down here, of developing advanced material. There's a material that's now owned by Adobe, so it's Adobe Substance, and that you can create your own material. So the wood in here, you start with a basic just view of a wood piece, and then make it repeat, make it have patterns and so forth, and then look at how to apply it into the scene. And there's some other things with regards to like the rug that you'll do, and this blanket that's laying on the bed there. But these will be developing your own textures using those Adobe Substance products that you can see there. So you can see some examples what students have done, and learning how to use these in like my Keyshot or VRED Pro that you'll see. And then finally, the last one is advanced presentation method. And so with this, you'll take an existing product, and then you'll look at how to go from original rendering, just complete rendering, and then go through different ways to enhance it. To do like on this one, there was the front end, that little chuck piece. Here they recolorized it on this. Okay, how to use masks to do some things like that. How to render out different layers so you can easily kind of enhance things. This is changing the background color. This one is doing enhanced shadows with it. So if you render layers, you can get out different sets of layers that you can work with, and after you render, go back in and just easily enhance details or shades or background colors or highlights and things like that that you'll find that the render layers give you with it. Okay, so a lot of kind of cool stuff that you can do with it, but using your basic rendering and then going through and enhancing that through, as you can see here, Photoshop layers and how to work with that. Okay, so it's a technique that once you get into advanced rendering, you really want to use so that you can go back and easily tweak things without having to, redo the whole rendering and all with it. All right. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. An overview of the courses. Of course, I probably ran more than 10 minutes, but thanks for sticking through it and all. If you have any questions about the courses and all, whatever schedule, software and all that, please just email me, and I'll try to, address it as quickly as possible and, answer any questions. If not, get together and discuss it like through Zoom or, cover it, and I'll try to help explain anything. But if not, hope you're going to see about signing up, and look forward to seeing you this summer. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.